Why livable future investing? Hi, it's Felipe. This is part one of Catholic social teaching and impact investing. I want to start with some simple carbon math. We all know the scientific consensus that 2 degrees Celsius will produce an unlivable future. The remaining carbon budget we have to get there is that we can only emit 225 gigatons. Currently, we emit about 35 gigatons of carbon emissions each year. Now, the crazy number is that when you add up the proven oil reserves from ExxonMobil, Chevron, our major oil companies, and the oil companies around the world, they measure something called the proven reserves. And in America, our investor owned oil companies, they value that oil as part of what they expect the company to produce. So the total market capitalization of ExxonMobil, for example, is $176 billion. That market valuation is based on the reserves that they uniquely have access to, and therefore their stock price of $42 is predicated on them producing those reserves in the future. Now, let's go back one more time. Our remaining carbon budget is 225 gigatons. As you can see, we have less than 10 years left at the current pace of carbon emissions. Yet we have 2,000 gigatons that are wrapped up in PetroChina, British Petroleum, Royal Dutch Shell, Chevron, these major oil companies. This is the simple carbon math that is leading me to realize we need to invest differently. And that's why I want to talk about livable future investing. In part two, I'm going to go over the problems with conventional investing and even some of the pitfalls in impact investing. Then we'll turn to how we might use Catholic social teaching and bold, courageous action to integrate Catholic social teaching into our investing, what that might look like around engaging communities and investors in the design, governance, and ownership, adding more value than you take as an investor, and fairly balancing risk and return between investors, entrepreneurs, and community members. At the end of this, I will put forward my thesis around capital supremacy. I think we need to move to something like capital reciprocity, where stakeholders are at the table in reciprocal relationship with each other, not with capital interests being maximized at the exclusion of others. We all know about white supremacy, but are we thinking clearly and noticing the insidious nature of capital supremacy? I'm going to map the shared ownership landscape in the United States, talk about the ecosystem of actors, and give you some examples of what these investable opportunities are that I put my money towards, and I invite you to consider as well.